Week 21 in the Premier League. These matches were played on the New Year's Day and the 2nd. We'll start at the Etihad. Manchester City entertained Watford. De Bruyne was fit enough to start and Silva was back, and it took just a matter of 30 seconds to bury the thought that they were still thinking about that draw against Palace. Sane, looking more like Giggs every week, hit a great cross, the Watford defence like statues, and Sterling tucked away the goal. A few minutes later, Stones back after injury missed the sitter in the box, but it didn't matter, as on 13 minutes a fierce De Bruyne cross was helped into the net by Cavasali. A little later, a De Bruyne free kick was edged onto the crossbar by Gomez. Then a rare half chance at the other end for Watford, with Richarlison's effort pushed wide by Edison. The second half, as is so often with City games, was a bit disappointing, but Aguero added a third on 63 and Watford got a late consolation. City back to winning ways. The early game on New Year's Day was the South Coast clash, with Bournemouth travelling to the Amex, and it was an entertaining game, with both sides always looking to go forward and both eager to chop up a win to edge away from the drop zone. And the Seagulls started quickly, with Knockhard scoring from a tight angle as a cross was whipped over, catching the Bournemouth defence off guard. But Wilson almost levelled things with a flick just going wide on 12 minutes. But the equaliser did arrive on 32 minutes from a corner when Cook looped a header into the corner. So one each at the break into the second half, and the game continued to be easy on the eye, with both keepers Ryan and Begovic having to be on their toes. And 2 minutes in, Murray finished off some good movement to score against his old club. Brighton 2-1. Bournemouth responded as they did in the first half, and finally got a very messy equaliser on 79 minutes. A real case of missed opportunities to clear by Brighton's defence. And eventually the ball crawled into the net. And that's how it finished, 2 each. So to Turf Moor. Klopp made 7 changes from the Leicester win. First half was okay, a few half chances. Lallana was taking the Coutinho role. He was on the bench and got better as the game wore on. Also, Mane looked impressive, and it was he who broke the deadlock, collecting the ball with his back to goal, turning 180 degrees and hitting a cracker with his left into the top corner. Pope had no chance. That was on 61 minutes. Well, Burnley showed their usual grit and determination, and it was rewarded on 87 minutes when Gunnarsson diving to head the ball in from a Barnes header across goal, and everyone thought that was that. Liverpool charged forward in added time, and the two defenders, Lovren and Clavin, combined to turn in the winner for Clavin. So Liverpool continued their great form with another win. So to Goodison Park, and Mourinho's men were in town. Rooney was made captain for the game, but he was for the most part defending. But there wasn't any real clear-cut chances for either side in the first half. However, in the second half, Pogba took charge and started to show his class and awareness. The result, 2 well-struck goals. The first by Martial, bending the ball cleverly inside Pickford's left-hand post, and then Lingard with a hard-driven shot into the same corner on 81 minutes. I was also impressed by left-back Shaw, who is slowly gaining in confidence and getting in more attacking positions. So 2-0 the final score. Mark Hughes, controversial team selection for the match against Chelsea, had suggested that he had put all his eggs into one basket with the visit of Newcastle imminent. And we went to the bit 365 and all the regulars were in the side. So what happened? Well, the first half was pretty mediocre, but Kieran Klaas missed from 2 yards to let Stoke off the hook. The second half continued to be a rather tense affair. Choupo-Moting brought out a good save from Darlow, and then Perez got his head to a cross from Murphy, and the Geordies were one up. Frantic efforts to get an equaliser by Stoke led to 2 great saves by Darlow to keep Doof out. But Stoke are now in deep mire, and Hughes might be looking for work soon. Where are we? The bottom of the table clash saw Albion at the London Stadium, and they were desperate for a win. Hart still on the bench, but both strikers, Rondon and Carroll, fittingly in the number 9 shirts. And it was Rondon with the first chance, just over the bar. And then a Lanzini strike at the other end, pushed behind by Foster. On the half hour, it was McLean opening the scoring for Albion, looping a shot via a deflection over Adrian to put the Baggies 1 up. Into the second half, and the Hammers pressing for an equaliser, and on 59 minutes, Carroll steered a glancing header into the corner for 1-1. West Ham were now on top. Arnautovic went close, and in the dying minutes, Carroll, at the far edge of the 6-yard box, struck the winner in the corner from a tight angle. The Hammers 2-1. Southampton's problems were growing with the loss of Van Dijk to Liverpool and their poor run of form, and so buoyant Crystal Palace were confident of a good result as they arrived at St Mary's. Mind you, if Long had been more alert, Southampton could have been 1 up in the first 15 seconds, but he eventually had another chance and broke his duck for the season with a crisp finish into the corner. That saw out the first half, but into the second, Palace pressure paid off when the fragile Southampton defence failed to clear a cross and MacArthur pounced. And on 80 minutes, Milojevic hit a sweet strike to put Palace ahead. And another precious win was had by Hodgson and his troops. So to the Liberty Stadium. And could Carvajal get a double after last week's smash and grab at Watford? Well, in a word, no. Spurs dominated the midfield with Ericsson and Ali and others in charge, even though the conditions were dreadful. Llorente was in for Kane, and he didn't take long to leave his mark, grabbing the opener on 12 minutes, getting a header on a cross. Surprisingly, it took until well into the second half before Spurs doubled their lead. Kane on for Llorente showed us that he just isn't just a goal poacher. He hit a great pass to Dele Alli, who at the second attempt hoofed it into the roof of the net. Swansea showed some grit, but really lacked firepower up front, and so remain rooted with West Brom at the bottom. Leicester, home to Huddersfield, and Leicester were without Vardy, still nursing that groin strain, and it showed with little to report of a bland first half. So to the second, and on 53 minutes, Mahrez struck a delightful volley from an Al Brighton cross, and a second followed on 60 minutes when Mahrez set up Soumani, who dinked the ball over the goalie, and it was 2-0, an Algerian speciality. Al Brighton added a third in stoppage time for a comfortable 3-0 win for Puel's men. Now to the Emirates, and this was played on the 2nd, and the London derby with Chelsea, and it was a cracker. Cech and Courtois both earned their paychecks, saving countless efforts throughout, and we still had 4 cracking goals. The first half was goalless, but enjoyable. But Courtois saved one effort that hit both posts. Into the second, and Lacazette should have put Arsenal ahead on 50 minutes, but Courtois shortly off his sharply off his line, thwarted him. And finally it was Wiltshire who broke the deadlock, smashing the ball home after a slight bit of luck laid the ball in his path. Now that really got the contest moving, and swiftly Chelsea responded and they were awarded a penalty, and Hazard converted with ease. They then took the impetus and Marcos Alonso got on the end of a Willian cross and made it 2-1. The excitement continued, and 2 minutes from the end, a mix-up in Chelsea's box, and Bellerin hit a sweet strike on the half volley, and it was 2 each. The spoils shared. So that's it. That's it for your Christmas and New Year fixtures. The goal of the round, I think it's that sweet volley from Mahrez. Okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks because it's FA Cup round 3 next Saturday. Bye.